Okay.
You can switch back and forth on camera. This is great architecture right here. This is great 18th century architecture.
Hi, Sissy. Hopefully you can hear us okay.
What's that?
I said hopefully they can hear us okay.
Yeah. Here, look at this. So over there is lock 14, which we're gonna be at later on today. This is lock 13 of the Ohio Canal, just south of backwards. We're north of Akron right now. This was lock number 13. And check this out. Come here. You can see where the wall is inset right there. That's where the lock gates were. So they would close the gates, lower the water, open the gates, and then the boats would just go right out to the next portion of the Cuyahoga River.
It's really beautiful out here.
No, this is lock 15. All right.
Hi guys, thanks for stopping by.
So we are on our way to lock 16. We are filming a video today. We were going to film 2 videos today, but Little John's back. Let's go this way so we're out of the path. Little John hurt his back not too long ago, so we're probably only going to get the majority of 1 video done today. But we are going to lock 16. The videos that we're filming are about some of the deaths that have happened at the locks.
Don't lie to him.
Don't lie to him.
He's lying to you.
And some of the ghost stories that surround those locks. So if you remember last year, we put out a couple videos of ghosts appearances at some of the locks further north on the canal. We are in Akron.
Yeah,
at
downtown
this
is right there.
Yeah, if we just go up a hill, you'll see it. So we're going to our first lock, which is lock 16, where a young boy tragically died. And people hear scuffling of feet, giggling, laughter, you know, all those kinds of things down at this lock. So we're gonna go check it out. You're coming with us.
One day it'll be green in Ohio. But today's not that day. Wow, look at that too. Talk about yesteryear.
That's cool. Yeah, it is. Lock 7
That's
and 8.
cool.
So back in 1913, Ohio had something called the Great Flood. and the waters were rising all over the state, and it was really bad, and the waters started to encroach upon the city of Akron. And Akron businesses were in danger of getting swept away, houses getting swept away. It was a really bad year. And the canal system, this was 1913, so the canal system was basically a done deal anyway. The rail system took over. Trains were now the predominant way of travel and of transporting goods. So the canal system became no more. And so in order to make it so that the city itself didn't completely flood and wash away in 1913, they blew up locks 1, 9, and 10 of the Ohio Canal in the city. And it sent a storm surge, if you will, both north and south. And that surge was so strong going northward that it took out a bridge in Cleveland because it broke a large shipping ship free of its moors, and it drifted along and took out a bridge. That's how powerful and how much water was being pushed. It was terrible, a horrible thing. But that's why we don't have very many working locks anymore on the Ohio Canal, because as soon as they blew up those two, the rest of the locks that were up and down river, those all got taken out by the rush of water. For the most part, the locks in Akron were already 8 feet below water. So they just had to blow them up so they could release some of the pressure. And it worked. The city was saved, but we lost the canal.
The Almighty Zeus said, "Ooh, if you guys ever come to Michigan, the Traverse City State Hospital would be right up your alley."
Traverse City. I was in Traverse City 2 years ago, and I was there for work and fell in love with Traverse City. It was winter, so getting there was fun. Lots of snowmobiles everywhere, but what a beautiful city it was, and the lake that's there, it's awesome. So I would love to go back.
How far away is that from Detroit?
So it's still many hours. It took me like 7 hours to get there.
Wow, yeah.
So you're still probably another 3 or 4, I would imagine.
The reason I ask is because I asked, I don't know if you can hear me or not. The reason I asked is how far is it from Detroit? It's because I'm going to Detroit in like 2 days.
Yeah.
So.
He also asked Dad, did the floods take away the rail line system?
I don't know. I'd have to ask, ask the old man.
Father, stop walking so quickly.
Let him walk. It's okay. I can't physically move that quickly right now, so.
I know, I'm too tired.
Yeah.
He also asked, did the floods take away the rail line system?
No, it did not.
What year was this?
1913.
Yeah, that's. Could have, though. That's crazy. So by 1913.
Also,
you're
hi,
talking
Linda.
about Not have the canal isn't being utilized nearly as much by
canal is
1913.
basically
At that point, it's
defunct at
almost
that point.
it's almost dormant by then, right? So yeah, because as soon as the railway system showed up in Ohio, that was it.
Sorry, it's shaky when we're walking.
Now, I can't tell you that I know exactly where this lock is. Sure. Because I don't. Sure. But I think the remnants of the lock itself are going to be on the left side of the house. Oh, really? Okay. I'm seeing this going. Yeah, so this looks more like a bridge. Yeah, or part of the feeder.
Thanks for liking the video, guys.
Okay. Yeah. So I can't remember what year it was, but we are the lock that we're going to. The boy who died there, his name was Charles Phillips, I think. And his friends called him Chalky Brown. Don't know why. but that was his nickname. And he was, so this was before child labor laws. And so he was actually working. He was hauling dirt in a wheelbarrow. He and his friends both had wheelbarrows and they're hauling dirt. And he was looking over his friend having a conversation, and he ran into the paddle that you pushed to open the lock gate and fell in. That's the lock right there. Just watch that side. Yeah. And fell in. Now the lock was 15 feet tall. But it only had about 6 feet of water in it. But, you know, he fell in. His friend couldn't find him. His friend called for help. And, you know, by the time people came and helped, it was already too late. He hit the paddle. He fell. He hit another, like the top of the lock gate itself, hit his head, went unconscious, went in the water and drowned.
Wow.
And it happened right here at this lock. This is lock number 16.
By the way, if you guys see me commenting, that's not me, that's my son. That's Dean. Hi, Dean. Hi, baby.
Hey, if you want to see 6 feet of water, I am like 6 feet tall exactly, 6'1" on a really good day, with a not broken back. So here you go. I imagine it was at the other end as well. It probably wasn't here.
Well, you know, this was all carved out, John. This is all filled in, so it could have been anywhere. But what we have to listen for here, now we're next to an urban environment, so it might not be easy to hear. But we're listening for giggles. We're listening for all kinds of things. And at some point, you're going to probably get your phone out and do
the ghost stuff.
the ghost app to see if we can capture any EVPs or anything like that. But if you can imagine, you know, this is filled with water. You know, the Little Cuyahoga River is to the right, but they diverted water this way so that they could raise and lower boats in the lock here to the right levels. And this is where it happened. He's hauling dirt. Wasn't looking. Fell right in. It's a shame.
Yeah.
And we have to set up for a shot. You're gonna actually see us actually making some of the video at this point. You ready to set up?
Yeah.
The consultant asked, where did all the water go?
It's a lot of water. Missing.
Hi, Mom.
Where'd all the water go? Over there.
Yeah, it went all over there.
Yeah, so over there is the Little Cuyahoga River. And yeah, when they stopped using the locks, they stopped diverting water into the locks and just went back to the natural river itself. So it's a valid question. And most of the locks on the Ohio Canal look like this one, where it's just nothing but, you know, remnants. There's no actual water in the locks anymore.
If they have any water, usually it's just a puddle or
Anything from the rain.
you know, a brackish swamp. A couple of them.
Hello, spirit of the forest. So cool that you're from England.
Right on. Is it any warmer in England? Probably not.
I think someone else said it was a wet and rainy day.
Usually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the moon.
Usually is. You fit right in here.
I don't see it.
Probably behind a tree trunk for you.
Yeah,
It's a
probably.
tree. Plus you're short.
I am short. It's not a sin.
That's what you think.
I don't know, John. What do you think?
Well,
You want to kind of like point into this?
Should have brought my sunglasses.
yeah, probably. I mean, we'll get there. Not 100% certain until I get the whole thing set up, because truthfully, it's more about getting the prompter set up than anything.
You take that. Why don't you get your phone out? See what there is to see. So for those of you who haven't seen a working lock and how they work, you'll notice that the lock wall right here has an indent. And this is where the gate sat. So they indented the wall here to give the gate room to swing in. And then, you know, let the water in, let either the water raise or lower. And they would close the gates on either end. You can see another indent all the way down here at the other ends here. Then they would do what they need to do, either raise the water to let people go upstream or lower the water to let people go downstream. And that's how they worked. It was a real simple design, and it worked really well and continues to work well in cities that have canals. It's a shame that the canals that we have in Ohio don't work anymore for the most part. There are some communities that have saved their canals, at least in short distances, and they give actual canal boat rides, and it's pretty cool. But most of the canals up and down the Cuyahoga River now, at least, are falling into disrepair like this one. And it's a real shame. What are you seeing?
I'm just seeing if I can get anything to say anything.
I can't see your phone.
Can't see it at all.
Goes to. I'm gonna put this on your head.
Well, I got good news and bad news.
Oh no.
I don't have my attachments, so I don't get to use this for that. That's the bad news. Good news is Megan's here, so she can hold stuff.
I am the mule.
It's to hold the things.
Okay. So we're going to be freestyling
Get
this.
to run and gun.
Yeah.
Old school, man.
Can we still do the teleprompter?
If she can hold it.
Can you hold it?
I think.
Still need that coat, Mom. That's your son.
Yeah, you still need a coat like this, huh?
Little kitty, we're doing fine. How are you? We're kind of cold. It's cold, isn't it?
It's a bit chilly.
It's a bit chilly. Yes, it's a bit chilly.
I think it likes the cold.
I do. I like the cold.
She likes the cold
It
and the
brings
snow.
me life.
I have 4 cats. Oh boy. He's having real-time conversation with a bunch of people on the internet.
Oh
That's
my
good.
god. On my account.
Yeah. On your account.
Well, I got something that said purgatory.
That said purgatory?
Purgatory.
Well, that's not a good thing to hear.
It's not.
That's not what we want to hear.
No.
Tell them to stop.
I saw restless too.
Well, restless, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Restless spirit, sure. But I really don't, now here we are talking and all of that kind of stuff, but I really don't know how anybody would be able to hear a child giggling
In all this.
in all of this.
Yeah.
You have, obviously, us having conversation. You have major thoroughfares right by us. You have water over there that we can still hear. So I don't know how anybody could hear scuffling of a ghostly apparition. I don't.
Especially if it was a younger person. I feel like that would be a lot harder to hear scuffles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, you want to trade?
Sure.
Let's trade. I don't like being in charge of that. It frightens me.
Bubba said giggles. Here's one. What's the history of the spot you're at, or what reason would there be spirits around the spot?
So in this spot, thanks for joining us, by the way. Appreciate it. In this spot in the a young boy, he was probably 9 years old. Heart attack.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to have a heart attack right now.
Please, no.
A young boy in the 1800s was transferring some fill dirt with a wheelbarrow. No thanks. It said no thanks.
Exactly. No thanks
That's
for the
exactly
heart attack.
what I said. And I said no. Yeah. Knock that off. Demon. I'm turning you off.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm in pain. No, turning you off. No demons. Sorry. In the late 1800s, a young boy was transferring some fill dirt with his friend. They both had wheelbarrows of dirt that they were transporting. And they were having a conversation. The sun was getting low, it was starting to get dark, and he actually ran into one of the paddles that worked the lock gates. Ran into it with his head, fell into the lock and drowned. So there are stories that, oh, maybe not. There are stories that his ghost still roams this lock. And I'm not here to tell you that he does or doesn't. I'm just here to document the story. And that's what we're doing. So if you believe in it, if you don't, no problem, either way. But we are at what used to be, or what is the remains of, lock number 16 on the Ohio and Erie Canal. We are just north of the city of Akron. We are probably a mile from downtown, and that's where this lock sits. And this is where it happened. And so yeah, we're here to see what there is to see, and to say what there is to say. And
Tofu Napa said, woohoo, love live ghost hunting.
yeah, I hope it's not too live though. Interesting. Well, this is going to be brand new for us, the way we have to do this. Because apparently we don't have some of the gear that we need to have in order to make this happen. Which is the normal routine we go through when we... I have a script written for this entire thing that we're going to document today. It happened, there's ghost stories from lock 16, from lock 14, and from lock number 4. And we are going to we're making a video about those ghost stories. So I've written a script and we have it loaded into a teleprompter, but we don't have some of the apparatus that we need in
Jane
order.
Benning said something did happen from my end that sounded like a child.
Okay.
Bubba said ghost hunting, don't die, guys. Oh, no.
We have been to a cemetery already today. We were at St. Vincent's Cemetery in Akron. One of the deaths that occurred on lock 14, which is the next one we're going to after this, he's buried at St. Vincent. And there is actually another one. We have to go to our favorite cemetery, which is Glendale Cemetery in Akron. There is somebody who died at that lock that's buried there as well. And we have a lot of information on him. He was a veteran of the Civil War. He fought at the Second Battle of Bull Run. So depending on what side of history you learn on, it's either Bull Run or Manassas. And he was in an artillery infantry and got wounded. Actually had a steel plate put in his head. He was in the hospital in Cleveland and decided he didn't want anything more to do with the Civil War or fighting or anything like that. So he went AWOL, went back home to Niles, Ohio. The police found him, sent him back to the Army. He finished out the Civil War, was discharged in 1865 at the end of the war, and then came to Akron, got a job at a rubber factory, but as with many of the men who fought in the American Civil War, after the war, they were kind of lost and fell into a lot of bad things. And he fell into becoming an alcoholic. And he and his friend left work one day, came down to find some watercress for making salad or whatever. And he was drunk and fell in and died. And his spirit supposedly still haunts block number 14. His name was George Stone. Oddly enough, George Stone's middle name was Washington, and a lot of people from around the Civil War time, especially if their first name was George, their middle name was Washington, to their parents paying homage to our first president and Revolutionary War hero. But yeah, so we have to figure out how we're going to set up this shot, and I don't know how we're going to do it. But you're going to have to set that down so people can see us, because you're going to have to hold a teleprompter. Because I can't do this off the top of my head. I'll just miss too much.
Yeah.
And a lot of these stories need to be told in a specific way.
Yeah.
Look at that big loser down there.
What a loser.
Want to go there? We're going down there.
Okay. We go where big men say.
Let's go this way.
Hopefully, I don't roll my ankle.
No, don't do that.
Oh, it's muddy too. Just a wee bit.
So the interesting thing about canals is these were mostly dug out by hand. Come this way, man. Stay up a little bit. They didn't have heavy machinery back really in 1827 when the Ohio Canal opened from Cleveland to Akron in 1827, July 4th, 1827 or 1825. See, so I need a teleprompter. I can't remember anything. But most, if not all, most of the Ohio and Erie Canal were dug by Irish immigrants with shovels and pickaxes and wheelbarrows. And a lot of people died when they were doing this work. Malaria hit. They called it canal fever, but it was malaria. And the tale is that for every mile of the Ohio Canal, there is a dead Irishman buried. And oftentimes they would just collapse and die, and they would pull them away, dig a hole, throw them in, cover them up, and then move on. So every mile, technically, a dead Irishman buried, which is quite astounding. Okay. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She needs this though, right? Or do you have it?
What? Teleprompter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in there.
Because I absolutely have to have it or we can't do it.
Look at it.
I mean, I don't have the dome for it anymore.
He's getting too old.
Yeah, this might be a scenario where the best thing to do is just do an intro and an outro, and then just move on, because I don't have any of the connective tissue for that to this guy. The only thing, I would have to sit here and hold them both manually, and that would get a little spicy. So we could try, but at the same time, like I said, it just makes more sense to do.
Well,
an
we
intro,
wouldn't
outro.
even need this. She could just hold the iPad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
So we'll just do an intro, outro, and then cut the B-roll and run to the next one, walk to the next one.
Yes, the magic of Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys get a lot of Hollywood. Believe me,
That's true.
you get a lot of
The
Hollywood.
things, the videos that we present on the channel, there's a lot of editing that goes on. There's a lot of outtakes that happen. There's a lot of behind the scenes that happen. We spend more time, how do I say this? We spend less time shooting the video than we do anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of time spent in the research and development, and then the post production. Just it's an arduous task, but we do it because we love to do it.
Someone said, have you thought about doing missing persons videos?
Yeah, that's more up your alley. Though,
Yeah, that's
right?
more me.
Yeah, but certainly this channel.
You
Yeah.
have.
I have, haven't I?
You
Yeah, I
literally
thought so.
have.
What did you do?
I'm trying to think.
That's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's hard for me, especially today since I woke up so early. I thought I did do a missing persons, but maybe I didn't.
I don't know that you've done a missing person. You've done the closest that you've gotten, I think, is the Bennington Triangle.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would be missing persons. Yeah.
There was several missing folk in
Yeah.
that one, so.
But if you just stay here on the channel and look through some of our videos that we've posted, look at the Bennington Triangle. Megan posted that not too long ago.
Like last
And,
week.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wasn't
like 2 weeks ago.
it? Here you go.
I will certainly
you
do
get
more
to be
too.
the tripod today. Congratulations.
Don't laugh at me.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is probably okay. I mean, yeah. Wonder if there's a place that you could sit the iPhone down, so we'll be able to capture.
Oh, thank you, Tossel.
Just to go like this. We're gonna try it.
Tossel gave us $8.
Well,
That's rad, dude.
Said thank you
Thanks.
from Australia.
Huge. Wait, Australia.
Thanks, Australia. I think
What?
that's what I read.
Australia or Austria? Which one was it, huh?
You can see how the feed's coming.
Yeah, let me
You can see if he's actually capturing any information.
Hold on. Hold on. We'll get there. I swear we're professionals.
I swear we're professional.
Just not today.
No, just not today.
Good morning from Australia.
Good
Wow.
morning. That's awesome. So it's fall now in Australia, from what I understand. Is that correct? Since it is spring here, it should be fall in Australia.
I should get one of those chest strap things, and then I could just show people what I'm
Bubba
filming.
says hi, Bubby.
What's up, bub? Be kind of rad.
How's he?
Oh, look.
how's he
Filming.
lined up with the video? Can you tell?
Here, let me look. I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, we want
As long as
people on the
as
live
long as they can see you in some regard, they can see you.
Yeah, you're a little fuzzy because it's focusing on the camera, but
Sure.
I'm fuzzy. You calling me fat?
of course.
All right, so Megan, what I need you to do is I need you to hold that kind of underneath the camera, or at least close to it. Yeah, that'll work.
Get yourself like here if you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then is she just going to tap the screen to get it to move?
Yep.
Is that what she does?
I just tap it once.
Just
Yep.
tap it. During the 19th century, Akron, Ohio boasted two major canals that played significant roles in its growth and development. The Ohio and Erie Canal, which opened in 1827, and the Pennsylvania and Ohio Canal, which opened in 1840. The latter served as the city's primary east-west waterway, facilitating the transportation of machinery, supplies, and people to the growing metropolis. The Ohio and Erie Canal was even more significant in the area's history as the main waterway driving Akron's expansion. But life in and around the canals could be difficult for the residents of Akron. Accidents claimed the lives of several workers on... You need to back that down for me. See? That's why we edit things. Now I just gotta wait for it to get where it needs to be. And Megan's holding it going, why is it so slow?
I'm just all shaky.
Don't worry about it, Shaky. But life in and around the canals could be difficult for the residents of Akron. Accidents claimed the lives of several who worked on and lived near the waterways, and some even used the canals to facilitate a means to end their own life. A working canal in Akron is but a memory. Canal boats no longer navigate these waters, but some would swear that spirits still roam near the locks of the city. Today we'll look at the history. No, it's okay. Let it go. Today we'll look at the history of the Ohio and Erie Canal and the haunts that continue in the locks to... Now pause it. You get all shaky.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm a really shaky person.
The canals do something, I don't know. Okay. Today we'll look at the history of the Ohio and Erie Canal and the haunts that continue in the locks of Akron to this day. So if you're curious, let's take a walk through history.
All right.
Yay!
See, that was painless.
I can make it painful.
I believe you.
How'd it look?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They're gonna see my eyes looking off camera for this one.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys care? You can literally ask them.
Hey, do you guys care if they're a little off?
Hey, just so you know, hey, that'll be the fun part. You'll get comments about it like, oh, I know the secret.
Yeah.
I was here. I know the secret.
That's good. That's
You
good.
know.
I like that. Yeah.
The time will come and you'll be in the know. It'll be great.
So what we're going to do now is what we would have done anyway. We're going to capture some B-roll of this lock and the surrounding area that we can kind of tell the story over. And so we don't need that anymore, Megan.
Okay.
And we'll capture as much B-roll, or John will capture as much B-roll as he needs to.
You want to do an outro, or would you like to do that in a different location?
Different location.
Okay.
Do the outro a lot for.
Well, here, let's scroll through until you get to the end, and there you go. All right.
Let's take
Are
this
you,
off.
are you going to steal them from
I'm
me?
gonna steal.
All right, sounds good.
I'm gonna steal the people from
Sounds
you.
good.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
God. All right, yeah.
Stolen people.
This is a long script.
Oh.
There's a lot to say.
They usually are.
Well, it's only like 8 pages
This
long.
one, yeah, this one actually isn't that long.
Oh, there we go.
Comparably. We've had where I think you've written longer scripts.
Have I?
Yeah, just close that and put it in your pocket. You can put it in my bag if you want to. Either way.
Oh, we have the paranormal side with us. Hi, folks. It's good to see you again.
Well,
Hope everything's going well with your
Hey,
channel.
Rick,
We are in lock number 16 of the Ohio and Erie Canal, chasing ghosts today, which is pretty cool, if you ask me. So now what will happen? You just so, I'm so proud of you. You have no idea. So proud. So John is doing his job now of capturing B-roll. And do you want to capture some stuff?
I was gonna see what people were saying while we were.
You should do that. And I'm going to walk people around and show them the lock a little bit.
Bubba said, "Thanks for giving us money."
He just said, "Mom." We're going to come over and take a look at see what this sign says and what the bench has to say. Yes, my daughter.
Fossil donated $15.
Awesome. Thank you.
He said, "Yes, it is, and I'm about to go to work."
Well, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day at work. Don't work too hard, unless you're working for yourself, and then work as hard as you need to. Why is the canal no longer a canal? It's a great question. Kind of spooky the way the child takes over. Yeah, it is. So the reason why the canal is no longer a canal is because somewhere around I want to say 1850.
I also donated another $15 and said, when you finish, buy a coffee on me or maybe beer. Have a good day.
Have a great day, Tulsa. Thank you so much. That's in the late 1800s. The canals became no longer needed. You had rail take over as far as the primary way of transporting goods and people across the United States. So when trains took over and they could lay tracks and go basically anywhere, it kind of made it so that the canals were no longer needed. So they started becoming in a state of disrepair. And then in 1913, when the Great Flood happened in the state of Ohio, they actually blew.
Battery full.
The water was encroaching on the city of Akron. So they blew up locks 1, 9, and 10. Or 1, 8, and 9. Yeah. And to kind of relieve the rising floodwaters. And it blew out the rest of the locks, both upstream and downstream, for the most part, and the canal became totally inoperable at that point. You couldn't get a boat up or down the river anymore because you couldn't raise or lower a boat to the height that was needed to get to the next section. So.
And you're walking into my shot. Hey, man.
Oh, sorry, man.
Oh, hey, man.
No, my bad. Sorry about that.
Clover said, now I take over.
Your son is so devious.
I love him.
We're gonna go over and take a look at this bench, see if it's just a nice place for people to sit. This is the towpath. This is not what the towpath originally looked like. So, a Redbeard, yes he is. Yes he is. Let's see if I can turn this camera around. How do I turn the camera? Oh, it's like this. I'll turn it like this.
Yeah.
Ah, gosh, so much better. Hi, folks. So let's talk for a little bit about the towpath. So, not having grown up in Ohio, I didn't really understand the meaning behind the word towpath. You know, I thought it was a path. Thought it was a path that people just walked on, and that's why they called it a towpath. In essence, it was a path that ran parallel to the Ohio Canal, and they used to use horses to tow the barges up and down the canal. Where did you grow up? I'm a West Coast baby. We'll get to that in a little bit. They used horses to actually, they threw a rope to the barge and tied it off to the horse, and they would walk the horse down the towpath and help pull the canal boat through the canal, certainly through the locks. And that's why it was called a towpath. And I just never put two and two together like that and understood that.
Why is it called a towpath?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I never knew that
Mhm.
until moving here and starting to study canals.
It's not a toe like your foot.
That's what I thought. I really
Listen,
thought.
Listen, man, stuff has always had weird names.
I know.
And it could have been. It really easily could have been like, oh, a towpath, because you use your toes to walk. Like,
Yep.
just
Yep.
as well, I guess. But
Yep.
oh, it's a towpath.
So now the towpaths on the Ohio Canal are places where people use, you've seen people running by and exercising,
Oh, yeah.
something I need to do. Don't tell them. People use, you know, the nature to run through and actually see, you know, the place where they live.
Yeah, it might be kind of drab today, but whenever spring actually decides to be here, we can put away the winter coats. This is all, I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Really, really nice.
if you look at the trees, I mean, they just look like wicked sticks right now, but they actually, you know, come in full bloom and look fantastic. And that'll happen around June, is when we'll get that.
Yep.
So, but yeah, for me, I was born in Southern California, and
Bluetooth connected. Battery full.
I didn't have any understanding or knowledge or firsthand experience of anything, you know, east of the West Coast. And they use mules a lot of the towpath. They did a lot of times, and mules are just burly animals.
They're brutal.
So what ended the ones in Massillon? You know, the flood of 1913 really helped to do that. 1913, 1914. You see?
It was 13.
It was, wasn't it?
Connected.
The flood of 1913 really helped to make it. Said earlier, they blew up the locks in Akron to relieve the pressure, and that explosion in Akron caused a barge in Cleveland to take out a bridge. The rush of water, the town of Peninsula, which we've been to many times, was basically underwater. So you have a question, madam?
There's something I would like to say.
Okay.
So I'm on the Spirit Box one for Ghost Tube.
Yes.
I went down there and I asked, was there a little boy who died here? And I got someone saying yes, there was.
That's spooky.
Yeah. So I came up here to tell you that.
Why do you do these things? We are not. If you go to the, you know, you've seen them pop up in the comments, the paranormal side. They have a great channel, and they discuss those types of things all the time. And I know that we dabble in here on Curious History. We dabble in those things in some of our videos. And we've actually done ghost hunts at like the Akron Palace, no, the Canton Palace Theater.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly sure about. We supposedly have.
It's not because she's listening to
Bluetooth connected. Battery full.
the weekends. We don't
Exactly.
have Sinatra on a Tuesday, you know.
Have you gotten all the B-roll you need from here, or do you want to go?
Well,
you want to go to the bridge?
yeah.
Let's walk this way. How's your back?
Pretty shitty. But
Well, thanks for sharing.
it's okay. We'll be all right.
So Megan, we're walking this way, and the where you heard that is in the other direction. Do you want to go over there by yourself? And okay, I was
It
just
sounds fun, doesn't it?
Maybe if I would like to pee my pants.
so they did put a road in here.
That's what I've seen too.
See, Google Maps Street View is getting old at this point.
So I remember just recently looking through this for some reason. Oh, and the reason, I don't remember what it was, but none of this was
Not, you know, there was heavy machinery working.
correct.
over here.
Yeah. Probably building whatever's up there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up there.
So people in the paranormal world will tell you that paranormal activity really increases around water, especially running water, because of the energy that it gives off to help spirits, you know, come in contact with you. I have actually heard that water can be a binding agent to ghosts, that ghosts cannot escape the grips of water, which is why there's more paranormal activity around water. I'm not sure which is true, but you can see here by the shape and slope. So if you see over here, folks, that's just a natural river flowing right there. But then if you start looking over here, you can see the embankment is not natural. This area of the river was dug. This is part of the canal system. So the boats would actually go through that lock over there that we were just at, and then come this way and rejoin the river. And this is the Little Cuyahoga, which is the spur of the Cuyahoga River. And it's, you know, there are 40 lots going up to Cleveland. Until the river gets deep enough where they didn't need any more lots, or there wasn't any elevation change. Hey, Mr. Man,
Let's go.
we're gonna go back over to the lock.
That's fine.
We'll see you in a little bit.
Yep.
Come on, Megan. We're gonna let you do your thing. Ask some more questions.
All right.
Don't be afraid.
I'm very afraid.
She gets a British accent when she's afraid. I can't tell if it's what part of Britain it's from, but
I've been told Wessex.
what'd you hear?
Sounded like alone.
Alone. Can you turn that up? Is it up as loud as it'll go? So Megan has an app on her phone. It's called Ghost Tube. And it has a lot of neat... Was that a giggle?
I think so.
Oh no.
Maybe this is how they hear the giggle.
So again, at this lock, which is lock 16, in the 1880s, a young boy died when he hit his head. He hit his head on the paddle that opened the lock gate. When people die on boat, that they push them off. No, not for the most part, not in the canal system anyway, unless it was a death that nobody wanted anybody to find out about.
The spooky kind.
So supposedly here you hear a young boy giggling. And are you recording?
Right?
Do me a favor and turn it into landscape. Turn it into landscape mode.
Else.
I gotta do it this way.
There you go. Because if you catch anything that we can put on the video, then we'll use landscape mode.
Okay. What was the little boy's name?
Well, his name was Charles Phillips, but everybody called him Chalky Brown.
Charlie, are you here?
Not Charlie. Chalky.
I know, but didn't you say his name was Charles?
Charles Phillips. But his friends called him Chalky Brown.
Chalky Brown, are you here, boy?
My God, don't do it.
Don't do it.
So it's scanning radio frequency is what it's doing.
Yeah.
Chalky Brown, are you here with us? I heard that you hit your head and I hear you hit your head and you fell in and you drowned. Is that really what happened? Yeah, I think the quality. Yeah, we're on 5G right now, and we've got excellent connectivity. So, if something is coming up on us, it would interfere, wouldn't it?
Let me see if I can show you what I got before.
Sounded like alone.
Alone.
This one.
Is there anybody here who would like to speak to us? Just stay space.
then I get brave and I go back.
Is there a little boy who died here?
Yes, there is.
See,
Oh,
yes, there is.
No. I was just about to say you're pranking me.
No, yes, there is what it said. Yes, there is.
You know, if there's any hip hop producers in the chat, some of those are pretty cool. Who'd use those? They're pretty nice.
My children. Oh my gosh.
Hey,
All
think
right,
about it,
we're
man.
putting you back in charge of
You
this.
got ghosts on your track.
Go say goodbye.
Bye.
Because it knows we're getting
It
ready to
does.
leave.
Okay, goodbye. Stay here.
Haunt. No haunting.
Nope. No haunting us. You get to stay
Oh,
here.
it said haunt feeling.
So, any spirits that are here, thank you for sharing your space and your time with us. Appreciate it.
Early.
Yes, really. But you are not allowed to come with us. You have to stay here. You can talk to
I
anybody
hear
else
you.
who's coming by,
Chased.
but you have to stay here. You are not allowed.
Bluetooth connected. Away.
Okay, bye.
We're going. Bye.
All right, so now we're going to head back. We're going to
Died.
head south. For those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the live stream, there are some pretty cool restored houses or buildings from the era of the canal that are just up ahead of us here. Then we're going to cross over North Street into Cascade Park, where we have Lock 14. And Lock 14 has had, gosh, I want to say 4.
Probably, at least, right?
There are 4 tragedies that happened at Lock 14. And one of which, again, was George Washington Stone, who, and for those of you, again, who weren't here earlier, George Stone died in 1888, I want to say. He was a veteran of the American Civil War, fought for the Union, and was injured at the battle, the second battle of Bull Run, otherwise known as the Battle of Manassas. And he had a silver plate put into his head. He was that injured. He spent time at a hospital up in Cleveland. He was still enlisted, and he was recovering, and knew that he didn't want any part of the war anymore. So he checked himself out of the hospital and went home to Niles, Ohio. Back then it was called Nilestown, Ohio, but we know it as Niles now. And essentially went AWOL. And the police picked him up at his mother's house in Niles and returned him back to the Union Army, where he served out the rest of his time. The war ended essentially in 1865, and then he moved to Akron and got a job at one of the several rubber manufacturing companies in Akron, and life was tough for him, and so he took to the bottle. And one day, he and a friend of his decided to go down by the canal to pick watercress, because back in 1888, that's what you did. You went out, and if you couldn't buy food, you found food. And the interesting thing is, though, that he could have bought food. He just chose to use the money he had. Come this way, Megan. He just chose to use the money he had on alcohol instead of food. And he and his friend got very drunk and they separated, split ways, and I smell a skunk.
I do too.
You smell skunk?
Mm-hmm. I hear you, bub. I'll come home soon, baby. I miss you too.
Anyway, he and his friend got separated, and they found George floating in Lock 14. So a sad ending to a difficult life for that man. And he is just one of, like I said, 3 or 4 known instances of people dying at Lock 14. Also in the city of Akron, downtown proper, Akron has a fantastic theater. It's called the Akron Civic Theater. It's only one of 5 atmospheric theaters left in these in the United States, and it was a one of a kind of thing. It was built in 1924, around there, and it was built with atmosphere in mind. You go inside that theater and it's palatial. It's like,
It's beautiful.
it's gilded. It looks like you are in I don't know, a Moorish palace.
Mm-hmm.
And there are several spirits who roam the Akron Civic Theater and Lock 4, which is which the Civic is basically built over. So we have a lot of video to shoot in several different places.
My sock's coming off.
But I think you can see the buildings that we're coming up to here are part of the restored period buildings here on the towpath. And I think we're done filming for the day, to tell you the truth. I think my son's back is worn as much, has endured as much as it's going to take today. But it's kind of cool to show you around some of the places that were along the canal and do a little ghost hunting, even if it was just brief with you. But certainly do appreciate you guys coming out and spending some time with us today. I know we haven't been around much. I apologize for that, but life has kind of gotten in the way of a lot of things for us. Right now, your Curious History family is doing everything they can do to just survive. So we're working hard to stay afloat and to make the most of our time when we can to make some videos for you. Not to belabor the point or anything like that. So we have 10 scripts written. I would say probably 5 of those are ready to film. The other 5 I need to go back through and do some final editing. We have plans this year to go to several different places. If we can, if it's possible, we absolutely would love to go to Gettysburg. But, you know, financially we've kind of hit a brick wall. So we'll see how that turns out. We have some trips scheduled for later on in the spring, maybe in the summer. We're going to go to one of the most haunted colleges in the state. It's a college in Knox County, Ohio, called Kenyon College. There are plenty of haunts going on there. And those scripts are about, well, those scripts I need to go over and finalize. There is Athens, Ohio, with Ohio University, that is just chock full of ghost stories. So we'd like to go there. I think we're going to hit the Franklin Castle this year, up in Cleveland. And the video that I think we're really going to put our minds to once you get back from Detroit, John, is we are going to go up to Cleveland to do a video on the Collinwood School fire. That was the deadliest school fire in American history. 75 people lost their lives. And it's just such a tragic tale, and there are so many firsthand witnesses who wrote an account of what happened. There are some hauntings that happened there, but I don't know how much we're going to really deal with the hauntings. We're going to deal with the just the humanity and the loss of life and why it happened and what changed with the construction of schools after that occurred. It was back before they had fire trucks. They had water pumpers pulled by horses, and it was a 3-story building, and their ladders couldn't even reach the second floor. And of those 75 people who died, 72 of them were children. And they died because they became wedged in the exits of the building. Just a pile of humanity that burned to a crisp. You had some parents who actually held the hands of their children as they perished. Just such a devastating scene. So we're going to go up there and cover that, and possibly go to the Lakeview Cemetery and see their memorial and some of their graves. So that's what you have coming up that we have planned so far. And of course, I'm sure a lot more things will happen. But I think we're done. It's cold. His back hurts. We don't have all the equipment we need. So I think we're just going to go back and regroup and hit this at another time. It was great seeing you all here again. And we are still alive. And we will hopefully have something new for you very soon. We have another 5 Curious Things coming at you here soon on Harriet Tubman, so look for that soon. And Megan, you have something coming?
I think
Peg Entwistle. So it was the death by the Hollywoodland sign in Southern California, and her name was Peg Entwistle, and Megan's done a video about that. So you will see us again very soon. But for now, I think we're going to say have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And thank you so much for joining us. It really means a lot to see all of you here. So until next time, folks, take care.